We've spent a lot of our recent travels in wide open, natural landscapes, so swapping trails for train lines and cobblestone streets felt like a complete shift in gear. The UK has a distinct rhythm. It balances the intense, fast-moving energy of London's markets with the quiet, deliberate history you find in places like Oxford and Bath. It's that constant contrast that makes the trip interesting. You're looking at millennium-old stones in the morning and grabbing a table at a top-tier spot in the city by the evening. We're walking you through the highlights of our route, from the royal landmarks to the quiet corners of the countryside.
Hey everyone,
It's Shipra.
and it's Shivam, and we're back for another video here in the UK. We're excited to be here for a couple of days as a prelude to our overall Europe trip, where we'll be heading over to Iceland in a couple of days from now. But we're excited to check out our first spot, which is Stonehenge. So the first place we've come here in the UK is also one of the most iconic, and that is Stonehenge, one of the wonders of the world. It's interesting because this place actually still today remains very mysterious. It was constructed initially about 5,000 years ago, but the mystery remains as to how these stones were actually brought here. They were extremely heavy, and it's unclear if at the time it was actually constructed, the people had the tools necessary to bring these stones actually here. There's actually been several experiments over the years to see if it was possible, but honestly, the experiments that were told in the guidebook as well as on the signs, they felt a little bit unpractical for the time. But what is cool is that it actually aligns with the winter and summer solstice. So during the summer, it aligns with the sunrise, and during the winter, it aligns with the sunset. So it's a really cool place to be. It was definitely on my list to come check this place out just because of the mystique around it. I will say though, once you're here, it definitely feels a lot smaller than you think it'd be. One of the fun and unique things about this place is that something I've never seen elsewhere is that they have all sorts of little poses you could do along the way, and they have posters showing exactly how to do them. So here I am doing one of the poses, holding Stonehenge in the palm of my hand. So coming to Stonehenge from London is actually not a particularly difficult thing to do. It's only about an hour and a half out. We rented a car for this trip actually, which has been nice in the respect we're able to come here, but not so nice in the respect that it's kind of hard to park in a lot of these tight spots, as well as a lot of traffic coming into London, like when we arrived yesterday. So after checking out Stonehenge, we took another 30-minute drive out to Bath. And this place is most known for a lot of interesting architecture, as well as the Roman baths, which we're gonna go check out a little bit later. But for now, we've been walking around checking out a little bit of Bath Abbey, as well as the famous bridge here, Pulteney, I think that's how it's pronounced, bridge, which is known for having a lot of interesting shops, as well as a lot of great places to sit around, enjoy some food, and just enjoy the views as well. So we're just going to continue walking around Bath until our entry time in about an hour from now. So the city of Bath has a lot of deep connections to the Roman Empire. As you can see right behind me, once you come to the other side of the bridge, you can see all of this Roman architecture and columns lining the waterfront. It's interesting because for the Romans, what was very important to them was sort of a communal religious bath setting. And they created these religious spas, and Bath was one of the centers here in the UK for that. So when we're going to be going to the Roman baths later on, that was actually an extremely significant site for the Romans. And you can kind of see all of that influence spread out throughout the city. Good morning. So it is our second full day here in the UK, and yesterday we did not end up taking a bath in Bath, but we did end up checking out the Roman baths. And I would say they were actually a little bit underwhelming overall. I think the pictures, they definitely do it justice, and it's exactly what you see in the picture when you go there to check out the Roman bath, but it was just the one area, and it seemed like the water they had inside of the bath itself was actually quite dirty. I think like they had some interesting fire features around it, but then generally it was just a very like small and secluded museum. So like every hallway was like really jam-packed with people, and everyone was kind of doing their audio guide because they include one with it, and they were just moving really slow. So we wanted to come out to Oxford today for one specific reason, and that is just for being a Harry Potter fan. So there's many different scenes that were actually shot in this city specifically. So we're gonna kind of walk around in here and try and find some of those locations, and we try to reminisce on the actual movie itself and just kind of remember our childhood a little bit, like when we used to go read those books, go to the movies to watch the theatrical releases. it's kind of a cool, like, just like memento almost of our childhood, just being able to be here and check out what the origins of Harry Potter were. And we started off today with actually trying to get some breakfast. So we came to a place called The Shoom. So The Shoom is an Indian chain here in the UK area. And they've also been expanding into New York as well. But honestly, I don't know. We just had the food. It was okay, but it was nothing like out of this world or anything. The drinks were really solid. Actually, Shipra really liked the chai, and they offer bottomless chai during breakfast. So that was nice. And the lassi was also really good. But the food itself, nothing to write home about. Honestly, it just didn't feel like it even had spices. So the first stop on our Harry Potter tour is Christchurch. And this is actually still an active university, but they shot a lot of the really famous scenes for Harry Potter here. So we're here in Tom Quad right now, and honestly, it feels a little bit like where they would do the Quidditch training practices in the movies. I don't think they actually shot it here, but we did just come out of two areas where they did shoot locations. So the first one was a pair of staircases. So it's very interesting type of staircases that they have here, as well as intricate designs on the ceiling as well as these grand archways that were really indicative of the Harry Potter movies. And the other was the Great Hall. So the Great Hall was not where they actually shot the dining scenes in Harry Potter, but it was used as inspiration for the actual set itself. And when you go in there, you can almost start visualizing the floating candles and the food that was going around, as well as all the sorting scenes and all sorts of different things, the rows of tables for all the different houses. It's pretty cool to see in person. So we just wrapped up our tour here at Christchurch, and I don't know whether it was by virtue of us being here on a Monday or what was going on today, but honestly, it was a very, very peaceful experience. I think like this is probably the most peaceful tour I've ever been on. It was extremely silent the entire way through. We were able to just enjoy all the different sights, feel like we were walking through the Harry Potter universe, and really just like soak in the ambiance of this college. It actually kind of made me want to go back to college, in a way. Not my college, but maybe this college. But that could also be just because it's such a great day out today. Being able to walk around Oxford is honestly amazing. It's a really, really nice city, as well as the university itself is extremely picturesque. It's really cool to see all of these amazing buildings all around. And there's also a lot of interesting little shops. We actually just stopped for a nice drink at a place that was entirely chocolate based. So just chocolate drinks, hot chocolate, iced chocolate, milkshakes. It's really yummy. But overall, so far of the place I've been in the UK, I think so far Oxford is my favorite. It's actually, I would say, relatively the nicest and cleanest city that we've been to thus far. All right, so Oxford was a distance away and we hit more traffic, but we found ourselves back in London and we wanted some food. The shim was not satisfying, so we came to another Indian place, and this was one we saw online in this random video that Shipra had found on YouTube that was basically outlining a lot of different Indian places to eat. And one of them was here, which is Govinda, which is an entirely vegetarian restaurant run by ISKCON, or the people that most people know as Hare Rama, Hare Krishnas. And honestly, food was pretty good. I would say what's most interesting about it is that it tasted exactly like home food. So like exactly what you might expect at an Indian family party, or made by your mom, or my mom, or Shipra's mom, or even Shipra for that matter. It tasted exactly like that, and in a way it was very, very satisfying. So when we came to Govinda's, we didn't realize it was in this very popular area called Soho. And it is popping here. There's restaurants everywhere, people everywhere, shows happening. Actually, they're playing MJ here, which I'm taking Shipra to next month to check out. But it is a very nice area. I think I'd definitely like to spend time here if I was looking for a lot of different places to eat. Unfortunately, I am already full.
So for our last day in London, we are kicking it off by starting off in Borough Market. And this is a place that I've seen a lot online. I was really excited to visit. There's a lot of food vendors around here, a lot of, cool, interesting foods, drinks, things like that. So I wanted to come check it out and try some of the viral foods. So one of the ones that we saw online that looked really interesting was this bread ahead. And it has these like famous creme brulee donuts. So we got the one that's really famous, and it's like super heavy and looks really good. So we'll give it a try. That's actually really good. The inside is like not too eggy. Like, I don't like creme brulee that's super eggy. I think the inside is really good. It's more like a vanilla cream kind of. Really good. Rating? 10 out of 10.
As some sort of donut connoisseur I would claim myself to be, that donut was pretty solid. I'll give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. But what Shipra didn't tell you is I just saved her from a near-death experience on the train where some lady was so obsessed with her phone on the escalator going up, she just tumbled back, and then I had to like save Shipra and catch her when that woman was falling backwards. So yeah, good start to the day.
So you're Superman.
I'm super Shiva.
Okay, so we stopped by a very famous and viral place in Borough Market. It's called Turnips, and they're famous for their chocolate-covered strawberries. And I've been like seeing videos of this for so long that this was totally a must-do in London. Interesting fact is that this is actually a good time. So we're here in July. June to August is like prime time. Like strawberries are in peak season. So I think this will taste really good. I think I saw some reviews online. People coming at different times of year, the strawberries don't taste as good. So if you want to try this, come try it in the summertime because that's when strawberries are in season. Pretty good. Tastes like a chocolate-covered strawberry.
So we're now standing on Tower Bridge, which is one of London's most iconic landmarks and something you see all over postcards of London. And for good reason. It's really well constructed. It's a really beautiful sight to see over the River Thames. It was actually constructed in the late 1800s, primarily to connect the large growing populations of both sides of London. And for me, as a movie lover, it's obviously been featured in a lot of movies. One thing I looked up just now, it's been featured in Spider-Man, Far From Home. I remember a lot of scenes were happening on this bridge as well when Spider-Man was fighting the villain in that movie. And tons of other movies, including Bollywood movies, were shot right here on this bridge. So we just wrapped up our continuing food tour today at a place called Colonel Saab. So Colonel Saab is a pretty upscale Indian restaurant here near Soho. And we had the Indian high tea, which is kind of an interesting concept because it's not something we can really get in the Bay Area or anywhere else we've really been thus far. So there was a variety of different items that they gave us. There was like samosas and Bombay sandwiches and doklas and all sorts of desserts. So it was an interesting experience. Honestly, initially looking at it, I thought it was not that much food. But by the end of it, I was so full and I realized every single item was just so heavy that I came out of that meal probably full for the rest of the day. So for our very last activity here in London, I'm taking Shipra on what is pretty much the very traditional path of checking out central London, which is coming first to Buckingham Palace, heading over to St. James's Park, going to Westminster Abbey, and checking out Big Ben. It's kind of just hitting all the major tourist spots. You're gonna cover it within probably like 20 minutes of walking, maybe 30 minutes of walking. It's only about 2 kilometers total. And yeah, I mean, we're here in front of Buckingham Palace. I guess this is where the king still lives, kind of King Charles. I didn't even know his name was King Charles anymore. I know nothing about these royals. They don't even do anything in the government anymore. All they do is create drama on the news, apparently. I guess it still attracts a lot of tourists. So that's what keeps this whole monarchy still going in the UK. Actually, it's kind of funny because like if you read articles about it, they say the reason to justify the royals and still paying a salary from the government is only for the touristic purposes that it drives for the government. So it brings in a lot of tourists because they're all interested in the monarchs for no reason at all. And that increases money that the government's able to spend on other services. So that's how they kind of justify giving them a stipend every year and letting them maintain all of their lands and everything that they no longer really have a right to because of the transition to like a very parliamentary system here in the country. So we're now exiting my favorite park here in London, which is St. James's Park. And I think this is a perfect place if you want to kind of like role play being a royal. So it really is reminiscent of things like Bridgerton or most recently, The Royals with Ishan Khatter. Not really, but I just have to say that because it's kind of a meme between me and Shipra. It's a funny show. I guess for me, it's more role playing. For Shipra, it's more inner blood. She's a Rajput.
For me, it's truly the royal. That's my definition of the royal family now. It's the royals.
You are a royal.
Ishan Khatter without a shirt on. That's the
Oh
definition
my
of the
gosh.
royals.
If you haven't watched it, I guess you can go watch it.
Yeah.
It's worth a watch.
It's worth it for the shirtless scenes.
Oh my gosh. All right, so we are now wrapping up our time here in London. And before we came, I told Shipra one thing about the UK. I very much undersold this place as basically America with different accents and maybe driving on the other side of the road. So Now, Shipra, given that context, what do you think after being here?
I don't think I was expecting anything that different. I was expecting to try some good Indian food, which I think we did have. We had some good Indian food. I wouldn't say it was anything like spectacular, but I also think a lot of the good food, like most places, is like in the suburbs, or it's like the places that people aren't hyping up on social media and on Reddit and stuff. So unfortunately, we don't really have the time to go see all of those places. So I'm sure there's some good hidden gems there, like just like everywhere else, just like other all major cities. But overall, it was an okay experience. I think I appreciated like some aspects of the city are more modern. Like for example, like in the subway system, like you can tap in and out with a credit card, which I haven't seen anywhere else. It's really streamlined and easy to use. On the other hand, the subways are really hot. They're really dated. They don't have any ventilation. So that aspect was like really like it's like so hot out right now. So that part was pretty hard. But I think aside from that, it was nice to be able to just like check it off. I think I've never been here before. There was like some things I wanted to see, and yeah, overall it was a good time.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really easy and convenient to get here. There's so easy to get flights from like the East Coast, even the West Coast. Like we took a direct flight here to London, and honestly, you get off the plane, it doesn't feel like you've really come to that foreign of a place. Things are really easy to figure out, especially as an American. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting place to visit for sure. I think if I was to come back to the UK, I'd really want to go check out places like Scotland, and then I'd also want to head over to Ireland as well. Just for a little bit different of a vibe.
More nature.
Yeah, and London is. I'm just not a big fan of cities.
Yeah. But overall, it was a good experience. I think it was worth coming for a few days, and now I think we're excited to get out and be in nature.
Yeah, so we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.